Hey guys, welcome to kcouch Clutch Picks results for week 2. I finished the week 14-2. The 2 losses came from the Bengals winning or losing instead of winning, and New Orleans losing instead of winning, which I think for most of America got that second one wrong. Okay, so we're gonna just move right on to the key players. I already covered the Chiefs and Chargers in a video yesterday or the day before, so I'm not gonna bother going over them again. So with the Bengals and Browns game, sorry, I gotta turn the volume down on this. Never mind, a note. Okay, so I'd say the 30-35 win for the the Cleveland Browns. The main purpose of that was Nick Chubb, who had 2 touchdowns, 124 yards on the ground, as well as a 9-yard carry or 9-yard catch through the air. Joe Burrow, first rookie NFL history with 60-plus attempts and 0 picks. So that's pretty cool. Okay, next up we have the Colts and the Vikings. Now with this one, the Colts, I believe the reason they won that game was because of the running back as well, same as the Browns, named Jonathan Taylor, who had 101 rushing yards and a touchdown on the ground and only pitched in 9 yards through the air, but that doesn't really matter. And he's first Colts rookie to rush for 100-plus yards since 2012. Next, let's look at the 49ers, who I believe the main player in that victory was not Jimmy G, was not the running backs, and was actually Jordan Reed, the tight end, with 50 yards and 2 touchdowns receiving, which on an injury-riddled team like the 49ers have turned into is actually a big blessing. And the 49ers are 7-1 on the road versus New York Jets all time. So for the Bills, some of these did go to quarterbacks, and I didn't really go into both sides because I'm trying to cut down on it. So I just went to whoever the key contributor is for the win. And it went to Josh Allen this week. 4 touchdowns. I could have given it to... Actually, I don't think I could have given it to anybody else for this game. But yeah, Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns, which is a career high, might I add. The Cowboys and Falcons. Now, this was an amazing comeback for the Cowboys. And unfortunately, I had to give this one to Dak Prescott as well, who had 1 touchdown for 450 yards through the air, but 18 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. So he definitely deserves the Player of the Week there. And then Greg Zuerlein hit a game-winning 46-yard field goal. As for the Lions and Packers game, I gave it to Aaron Jones, who had 168 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, as well as a receiving touchdown with 68 more yards added on. He did great on that game, and Green Bay is now 24-3 at home versus Detroit since 1994. Let's go to the Rams now. And I actually went ahead and gave this one to Tyler Higbee, who had 54 yards and 3 touchdowns. I could have given it to Jared Goff, but I've just given multiple quarterbacks this, and I do believe that if Higbee was not catching those passes, they would have lost. So the Rams, Tyler Higbee is the career high, by the way, 3 receiving touchdowns. Next, let's go to Chicago and the New York Football Giants. And as far as the Bears' victory, a little asterisk because Saquon got injured in the game and is out for the year. So I gave the winner of this one 2, the interception Dion Bush, I think his name is, had. I feel like if that interception didn't happen, the Giants could have just as easily won this game as the Bears did. 2-0 start for the Bears for 5th time since 1993. Next, let's go to the Steelers. Broncos lost Drew Lock and Cortland Sutton in this game, so once again a little asterisk next to victory for them as well. The Steelers, I didn't know who to give this to when I first went through it. But I didn't give it to Ben Roethlisberger. I didn't give it to James Conner. I did not give it to the receiving backs. Who did I give it to? I can't even remember. I actually will change my mind because I can't read what I put down anymore for some reason. Oh no, I gave it to Deontay Johnson, I think his name is. Rookie wide receiver, had 92 yards and a touchdown. And I could have just easily given it to Claypool, who had 4 less yards on 5 less catches. And Denver is 0-2 for 4th time since 1970 merger. Tennessee Titans, I gave the player of that game to Jonnu Smith, I think is how you pronounce his name. And he had half of the touchdowns thrown by Ryan Tannehill and 84 yards. A little bit of a thing here, though. There was 2 interceptions by the Tennessee Titans as well, which probably kept them from losing this game. So I'm going to give a little shout out to those 2 interceptions as well. Next up, we got the Buccaneers and the Panthers. 17-31, the Bucs won that one. I gave it to Leonard Fournette, who had 2 touchdowns on the ground. And so, yeah. Tom Brady, second player in NFL history with 75,000 passing yards. For the football team in Arizona, I gave it to Kyler Murray. I know, once again, why are you giving so many to quarterbacks this week? But simply put, he is the reason they won this game. He had a touchdown through the air and 2 on the ground, so I had to give it to him. And Kyler Murray had 158 rush yards, 3 rush touchdowns through the first 2 weeks. Baltimore beats Texans. I gave it to Marcus Peters, who had an interception. I could have easily given it to just about anybody on that team, but I decided to go defense on that one just because the Ravens have always been known for their defense. And they have won 5 consecutive regular season games by 16-plus points. That is impressive. Next, we have the Seahawks and the Patriots. I gave it to Russell Wilson, who had 5 touchdowns, and he has 9 touchdowns in 2 games this season. But what I'm also going to do with this game, I wanted to go a little bit more about the Seahawks defense, because I believe they came up with some clutch plays as well. Yeah, they had an interception, which I believe came in the last, the last quarter at one point. And they did have a sack by Jamal Adams as well. So the defense actually didn't play that bad. And I think they got both of those plays when they needed it the most. Okay, so Saints in Las Vegas. Las Vegas won this one in surprising fashion, might I add. As far as who I gave player of the game on this one, I could have given it to Carr, but I decided not to. Instead, I gave it to Darren Waller, who had 103 yards and a touchdown. And the Raiders have scored 30-plus points in 2 straight games for the first time since 2016. I think that was the year that Derek Carr was actually, pretty damn good. And so, who knows, they might be returning the form this year after a couple years of being terrible. Okay, so that's it for the results video. I'll be posting my predictions video today as well. Not too long after this one goes up, but I have to post this one, record the next one, and then post that one. So give it a few minutes. And then I'm going to be giving an extra video either today or tomorrow talking about the Tyrod Taylor, Justin Herbert situation. Now, if you prefer this, where I only name one player instead of a player on each side of the ball, comment down below that that's the way you want these to be laid out, and I'll start doing it that way. If you prefer one player each game and you want me to stick to this, also let me know that in the comments. And let me know how your reactions were to this week's games. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.